We've all heard the phrase, "There's no stupid questions." What are some examples of stupid questions? I am a dental assistant. A patient once asked me if she was supposed to brush her back teeth as well as her front teeth. Her reasoning for not doing so before was because nobody sees your back teeth. I used to work in the same company with an immigrant guy around 45 who was a trucker, and he just stunk. It smelled like he bathed in shit. The smell was specifically horrible in a way that is hard to get across, and for years most of my co-workers avoided him for the miasma effect he was giving off. Obviously, somebody smelling that bad must be infectious in some way. Plus, English, being his second language, communication took longer, and you didn't want to get stuck explaining things to this guy. Turns out the dude came from a country with poor healthcare, and once his employment medical benefits kicked in, he got nearly every tooth pulled and a set of dentures to boot, and the smell went away. Someone once asked me, "Are you Chinese or Asian?" A neighborhood kid once asked my daughter, "Are you Chinese or are you like a regular person?" In 2010, Congressman Hank Johnson asked an admiral whether sending more Marines to Guam might make the island top-heavy and capsize. Not if you spread them out evenly across the area of the island. Coworker #1 was talking about missing a sibling who had moved to Australia a few years ago, and she wished she could afford a plane ticket to visit. Coworker #2 asked why not just drive to Australia. A common question while working at Disneyland: what time is the 3 o'clock parade? So common, in fact, they sold a t-shirt with the phrase, "If a woman dies in the middle of birth, should the baby go to prison for murder?" Only in Texas. What essential oils should I use to make sure ghosts don't summon into my house, given that I'm a Gemini? That classic conundrum. I had a customer ask me if there was cheese in a cheese quesadilla. When I worked in a pub, I was asked, "How much is your free Wi-Fi?" The Wi-Fi is free, but the password is $50. Just to be clear, is the password actually $50, or does it cost $50 to get the password? My white friend once asked my black friend if she could use some of her foundation. That one sticks with me. On an early morning flight to Vegas, young lady in the window seat turns to her friend in the middle seat, complaining about the sun coming through the window. Is the sun going to be there all day? Any question can be a stupid question if the same person asks it multiple times, expecting a different answer. Are you lesbian or American? They wanted to know if you were a resident of the island of Lesbos, obviously. I was in 8th grade when I overheard this question asked to another student. Does your heart travel around your body? She asked this because she could feel her pulse in random places, so she thought her heart traveled to those places. We have a saying at work: there are no stupid questions, only stupid people. Me and this dude I used to know go over to this gal's house. She's having a party. We hang for a bit, and she's like, "Hey, my kids are asleep in the other room. Do me a favor and hang for a minute. I gotta run these 2 people home." I'd known her for some months. Now there's one dude left chilling with me and old buddy. He looks at us and says, after casual basic small talk, "So have you 2 guys ever killed anyone before?" Me and old buddy look at each other and just go quiet. As a teacher, I have more than you can believe. A student in history class, 8th grade, 13, 14 years old, asked the teacher if the film they were watching was filmed in real life or made up. It was a film on the Revolutionary War in America, the one that happened in the late 1700s. My favorite one wasn't so much the question this girl asked during a test. It was the fact that she had written the answers on her hand, the hand she raised to ask a question. There are no stupid questions, but there are a lot of inquisitive idiots. Friend to nurse about to administer her smear test. Do I need to take my knickers off? What's the phone number for 911 services? What's in Aram and Amp Coke, Ketas cheese balls, and Amp beer? Does the sun come out at night? Is mayonnaise an instrument? Yes. If humans evolved from monkeys, why aren't monkeys still giving birth to humans? What was the name of the ship in the Titanic? Oh, you grew up in Hong Kong. Do you speak Japanese? This at student orientation at an Ivy League university many years ago. Same kid later thought he was being clever, asking my Russian-American girlfriend what would have happened if the Russians won 22. To this day, I maintain that you don't need a brain to study finance at top schools. One time the power went out when I had a friend over, and he gets up and goes, "Can we still use the toilet?" I responded, "Man, when's the last time you had to plug a toilet into an outlet?" "Where's my phone?" as I'm holding it in my hand. "Where do you keep your ice cubes?" "What if we tried bringing the light inside the body?" I was once asked if dogs had armpits. If we evolved from monkeys, why do monkeys still exist? It's a bad faith question used mostly by creationists, and it's framing evolution incorrectly. We evolved from a common ancestor of humans and apes, not from apes monkeys themselves. Even if we did descend from apes or chimps or another living species, still a stupid argument. Like dogs descended from wolves, but wolves still exist. I descended from my grandparents, but they still exist. What's in the mozzarella sticks? To be fair, I've had mozzarella sticks that made me go, "There's mozzarella in these. Are you sure?" That crap tasted like deep-fried cardboard and had the texture of something that may have once been mozzarella, but sat out in the open for a couple of years and nearly fossilized. It was that dense and chewy. My somewhat bilingual 3-year-old once asked "How do you say orange in English?" Usually the ones where the question was answered moments before, but they had to ask again because they weren't listening. One time my inner dumb came out and I Googled, this wasn't a mistake, "How heavy is 86 kilograms in kg?" I've worked in hospitality and been asked many times if the all-day breakfast is on all day. I live in New Mexico. I have friends from college who regularly got asked if they needed passports to travel to Texas. Someone asked our Alaska wilderness guide who their landscaper was.